All right, here is a question from someone in my Trips Corner private Facebook group. Let's answer it. Anonymous says, hey friends, I'm probably falling back into my anxious attachment overthinker ways, but perhaps some of you have advice or insight. Last Friday night, I had a great date. It lasted 5 hours, went to 3 different places, drinks, apps. We were introduced through a mutual friend. There were plenty of signs she liked me, touching, laughing a lot, willingness to keep the date going. I knew I was good for the kiss at the end, and it led into a full-blown makeout session for a good several minutes. We exchanged texts to let each other know we made it home. I thought that would be it, but she proceeded to ask what was the high and low of the evening. I responded, the high was kissing her. There was no low. She told me her high was my laugh. She thanked me for taking charge of the evening and then commented she should have followed me home so she could get a foot rub. I told her maybe next time. I wished her good night at that point. It was almost 1 a.m. She had a gym time to keep. Here's where I wonder if I fucked up. I shot her a text the next afternoon asking if she made it to her personal trainer. We slowly exchanged some messages and I learned she had nothing going on that night. Since I don't free up until next week, I asked if she wanted to join me for espresso martinis. First, she declined and offered I come there, but she changed her mind because her place was a mess and she didn't have time to get ready. She asked for a rain check. I told her it was cool. Now, other than a good morning we each sent each other Sunday and Monday mornings, I've heard nothing from her, a stark contrast to last week when she was very chatty each day and excited to meet. Do you think my invite for another date the next night came off needy and was a huge turnoff? Do I continue to hold off contact until I know when my schedule opens up for next week? Is it me or does anyone else find they have good to great first dates, ending with kissing, only to see the air go out of the balloon days later? What could I be doing wrong? So confusing. This is a fantastic question. Now, to be honest, and I know we don't like to hear these answers, but it's possible we're just not going to know for sure exactly what happened. This is just the reality when it comes to a situation where the girl ghosts or isn't as interested. Sometimes we'll just never know. Like it could be something completely out of our control, something that has nothing to do with what we did. Who knows what's going on in their life, whatever. But I always like to give my best guess as to what you're giving me in terms of this story and what's happening. My first thought is neediness. Many ways in here you showed neediness. And neediness is one of the most unattractive traits when it comes to getting with a woman and building attraction. A woman never wants to know that you're needy. And so here are all the different ways that I think you were acting needy, or we'll say in combination with neediness, almost showing too much interest and not allowing there to be some mystery. 1, she asked you the high and low of the night. You said high was the kiss, low was there was no low. So that just, I don't know. I know we don't want to play games here and I'm trying to get you not to, but it's like too much. Like the kiss was amazing and nothing went wrong. You're perfect. Everything's perfect. Like that's almost like what you were saying to her. I would have been more playful with it. And also I would have not answered that night. I would have texted her later that next afternoon to show her that you're just not available all the time to be texting. Women don't want you to be available all the time for texting. They say they might want you to be, but really attraction builds when there's a little bit more distance. So I would have answered the next day and I would have said something, for example, like the high of the evening was, I don't know, nothing about her, just like the amazing food we ate or that place or that drink. And the low of that evening, and this is where you could tease her, right? So you can tease her on something that she did, something that she said. So reference something that she said, like the low of that evening is when you told me that you love watching, reality TV. Oh, you're the worst. Okay. Clearly this is a tease and joking around. This is going to spike emotion and this is going to make it look like you're not trying to be so easy to get. Although I do like when she mentioned the foot rub and you said maybe next time. That's good. It's like maybe next time, like we'll see. Now, other things that show neediness, the fact that you guys are saying good morning to each other every morning or most mornings, Sunday and Monday morning, you guys aren't in a relationship yet. Even in a relationship, you shouldn't be doing that. There needs to be more mystery, more distance. It's not attractive when you're so available. She needs to feel like there's a little bit of a challenge to get you. That challenge is so important. I talk about that in my TED formula. That is part of T. That is part of building that attraction. You do that through not giving her everything. And in here, it feels like you are. So let's see. You also mentioned the big part of this question of hanging out with her the next day. Yeah, I wouldn't have done that. You don't want to be hanging out with her the next day. First of all, if you try to do that and she says no, you're in big trouble. Because now you got to ask her again. And now it seems like you just really want to see her. You have nothing else going on in your life. You don't seem like a busy person. I would be doing the thing that you're trying to do now, which is ask her out when you're free, but do it at a time when it's at least a few days later. So you can ask her out the next day. Nothing wrong with that. That's fine. Ask her out the next day just to keep things moving, but don't do it for that night. Do it for the next week. Don't try to see her more than twice in a week, especially in the very beginning of dating. Hopefully you are busy dating other women or busy doing other things. In fact, I don't think she deserves your time, that much time in the very beginning of dating, not yet at least. Because it's going to do what? One thing, which is help build that attraction so you're not always that available. And two, it's going to allow you to do all the other things that you should be doing in your life. You should be a busy guy. You should be working on your path, your purpose, your career, your friends, dating other women so you can be in abundance so you're not so needy for her. So be really careful about trying to see them the very next day, even if they are the ones who propose it.